Hey, what is up guys, Jamboo here, and welcome to the first tactics video of the year. The 4-2-3-1 is back, and I'm going to be showing you guys the best custom tactics to get the best results in FIFA 23. As always, if these videos do help you, please do leave a like and subscribe for daily content on how to get better. But for now, let's get into it. It is time for a quick giveaway. If we can hit 100,000 subscribers before Christmas Day, I will PayPal one of you guys £1,000. All you have to do to enter is subscribe. Good luck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys the tactics, and then I'll show you some in-game footage of them working as well. I know a lot of you guys just like to see the tactics and try them out for yourself, so that is more than fine too. So the 4-2-3-1, we've gone for balance on the defensive style. I do find on this game that press after possession loss is decent as well. However, with a 4-2-3-1, it's more of a formation for sitting back a little bit deeper and being a bit more defensive. So I don't really think it's a formation that you want to be using a press tactic with. 70 on the width. The reason for this is crossing at the moment is super OP, and if you go too narrow, what you find is they've just got so much space out on the wings, and then they're going to cross the ball into the likes of Haaland, and you're going to concede a lot of goals. So by having this 70 width, your defensive backline is quite spread out, and you're going to be able to make the gap between your left and right back and your opponent's wingers. 30 on the depth. I'm finding this to be a nice balance at the moment. It's obviously pretty low, but I am finding that, you know, this is a pretty good mix between not being on one depth, and then also, you know, your defensive line is not high at all. It's a good enough mix where you can press, but for the most part you are sat very deep. Balance on the build-up play. I don't really recommend any of these other ones, at least right now. If any of you guys have tried these and do have some success, do let me know, because I am interested, but I just don't see how any of those are going to be better than balanced. Direct passing, same as last year. Basically what this does is it pushes your opponent's backline so deep that you get a lot of space in the box for cutback opportunities and similar goals. So I find that to be very good. 65 on the width. You don't want it too much. The 4-2-3-1, whilst it does have a lot of natural width with the lamb and the ram, it is primarily quite a narrow formation, and what you don't want is your players either sitting right in the middle of the pitch or your wingers being out on the touchline. You want a good balance there, and that is what I think you're getting with the 65 depth. Players in the box. I'm putting this quite a bit higher than what I've had on previous FIFAs, and the reason for that is attacking options are very limited. I find that if you have this, for example, down here, what you're going to see is just not a lot of runs and things like that at all. I think you need to have this up. Maybe one of your CDMs gets involved in the play, and even if you don't use them as that passing option, it just gives your opponent something else to think about. So I recommend having the players in the box on around 7 out of the 10 available slots. Corners and free kicks, I don't think this matters too much, especially for me because I take mine short anyway, but I would say 3 is a good position to have them in. This is my current team and how I lay it out. Basically, what you're looking for is a rapid striker. So you guys can, you know, I know a lot of people aren't going to have a team like this, but you can see the type of player you want in each position. So for me, I want one destroyer and then one creative player in the CDM partnership. So Vieira is obviously very good for that as the destroyer. Zidane is the creative player. Cheaper alternatives, you know, you could have Kante in the Vieira position and then someone like Kevin De Bruyne. In general, you know, same as every year, you want fullbacks that are quick, centre-backs that are quick. I like having Messi and Nkunku on these sides because they both have the finesse shot trait. It's not as good, the finesse shots, as it was on on last year, but it's still pretty decent. And I want as many 5-star skillers as possible. I think that's very important because the way this game is playing right now, it is pretty slow. You can't dribble. So being able to throw out that elastico, for example, is very, very important. And, you know, you're going to be able to get some goals from nothing, just glitching through defenders at times. So it's very important in this formation that you do have these skill moves. In terms of the instructions, on the striker, I do just have stay forward. Getting behind, I find that they just run offside all the time. So I've tried to stop myself from using that, and it is working okay. Come back on defence on all of the cams. Like I say, the 4-2-3-1 is primarily a defensive-based formation. So just having those players coming back to help, you're going to have a lot of support in the defence, and you're going to be very hard to break down. I find that to be a very good mix. I do have get into the box for cross on all of them. This sort of fits into what I was saying about the tactic here, the players in the box. You're basically just giving yourself more options by having that instruction on. For my Destroyer CDM, I have them stay back while attacking and then balanced on the other. And then on both of the CDMs, I do have cut passing lanes and cover centre. They're both just going to sit in front of the defence when you're defending and not move, basically, which is exactly what you want. And then last but not least, you want stay back while attacking on the fullbacks. It's not to say that you can't trigger runs and use them in the build-up. However, the last thing you want is your Hakimi, you know, running, overlapping past Messi, you lose the ball, and then there's a huge gap in your defence. You do not want that at all. So you definitely do want them on stay back. Those are the instructions. I think these are going to help you guys. Let's have a little look at some in-game footage about how this actually plays on the pitch. So the first thing that we're going to look at in the 4-2-3-1 is the transition. You can see here we are playing out the back. And one thing to notice, and what I really like about this formation, is when you pass out to your fullback, you've always got at least two passing options. So you have the CDM in the middle, and then you've also got the line option. And what that does is it just constantly gives you the edge over the player that's pressing. And that is very important when playing out the back. You can see here on this occasion, we go down the line, and then already we've got a counter-attack on. You're going to have your Lamb and your Ram making the runs, as you can see here. We do have Messi, another little ball into the middle, and you can see that it's very good in terms of attacking options. You know, we've got this guy running, and Mbappe, our midfielder, who we do leave on balanced, if you guys remember. He is making a run forward. This guy, like, there's a lot of options going forward, and this is all just from one counter-attack. So you can see here, we play the through ball, another little pass across, and then from this position, we're able to just play the ball in and make it 1-0. But you can see the attacking patterns there. Very nice. The main strength of the 4-2-3-1 is obviously its defensive capability. So you can see here, our opponent, he's playing the ball around the box, and then just look how many players we do have back. It is ridiculous. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Literally all of our players are back. And from this sort of position, there is just nothing your opponent can do. You've got so many players, you know, back in that area, and they're just not going to be able to create a good chance. And just having that sort of defensive prowess, you know, you're just going to be a much better FIFA player in terms of being harder to break down, etc. You just always seem to have players back in this setup. Overall, guys, the 4-2-3-1 formation is, in my opinion, at least right now, the best formation in FIFA 23. Every year, it is extremely strong, and it is definitely one that you guys want to get into your game. So, I do hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do leave a like rating. Make sure to subscribe for daily content. I'll catch you on the next one, boys. Peace.